Hi Satnam, it's me Shakti Sundari back with you today for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. I'm just about to head off to meet another Shakti, Elizabeth Shakti Kaloji, who is a friend, a fellow yogi, and we're planning a retreat together called the Radiance Retreat. And I'm going to be bringing some of the teachings from these sutras to that retreat. So super excited about that. It's going to be a yummy retreat involving yoga, meditation, dance, embodiment, rest and relaxation, and yes, some teachings from the Radiance Sutras. It's going to be in October, 7th to the 14th of October this year, so 2017. So if you want to know more, if you're on Facebook, message me, and if you watch this on YouTube, then head on over to my website, shaktisundari.com, and drop me a line and I'll give you some information about it. So that's exciting. Brings even more juice to these readings once again for me, and just the excitement of knowing I'm going to be sharing the practices and the meditations from the sutras with more people. It's an ever deepening spiral. So we are on Yukti verse 100. Only 12 more verses to go. Oh my god. But don't worry, there's more after that. There's more, because after the 112 meditations there's some insight verses, so it's not completely over yet, but still, number 100, that's pretty amazing. So it's another good one. I'm going to go ahead and read Yukti verse 100 from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Hello. Hello. All right. Kinchitjnai yasmrita shuddhi sa shuddhi shambhuda shane nasuchiehi asuchi tasmat nirvikalpa sukhi bhavet. And let me read that again. I always find if I read it a second time, it just goes in a bit deeper. Kinchit janai ya smrita shuddhi sa shuddhi shambhu darshane nasuchya hi a shuchi tasmat nirvikalpa sukhi bhavet. And here is Lauren Roche's translation. All this talk of purity and impurity, these are just opinions. Beyond them are the miraculous energies of creation. Rays of light from 1 trillion suns illumine the altar of your sky. Rolling blue-green oceans sanctify the air you breathe. In this moment, you are inhaling their blessing. Who are you to call any of this pure or impure? Find the center around which everything revolves. Stand here and be flooded with joy. Yeah. One of the things that I have mentioned a lot every time I've read these sutras, and actually when I was at Sally Kempton's workshop the other day, she mentioned this also. It was lovely to have that reflection, and I suppose it's not really a secret or a mystery, but this path is one of non-duality, and there are many paradoxes in the teachings as there are in life, and the quest in a way is about resolving these dualities within our conditioning and our belief system, and living with the tension, or in the space between the tension of the paradox. So there's a bit of that here. All this talk of purity and impurity. So already we're set up to conceive of things in a polar, diametrically opposed opposition, right? Pure and impure. So we divide life, we divide experience into good and bad, pure and impure, God and the devil. So we have this polarized way of quantifying, defining existence and our experience of reality. There's also, of course, in this an aspect of judgment, because so much of spirituality and religion has a tendency to define some things as good and desirable and right, and then other things as bad and not desirable and wrong. And then there can be this tendency to go around judging things that are wrong or bad, and thereby separating ourselves from them or from people or experiences. So this applies just as much to what we experience within ourselves as what we see and experience outside ourselves. But this judgment in our definition of experience creates a separation, creates a distance, creates a closing off. And actually, one of the other things that I want to bring in from Sally's workshop, which I loved, was how in her approach to this and to the experience and interpretation of the sutras, you know, she was very much advocating to experiment, to explore, to taste, to play with them in your own being. Which I really love, because I've also read opinions, and they are actually, for some reason, mostly written opinions by men, which are very dogmatic in terms of how these scriptures should be interpreted, as if there is one right way and then another way is wrong. My own perspective is that we have all we need within us, and we can find these truths, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with exploring our own understandings. In fact, that's everything is right about that, because only we can truly know and only we can truly experience. So experiment and explore all you like, as far as I'm concerned. There's nothing pure or impure about any of it. As the verse says, these are just opinions. So opinions come from the mind. They are beliefs, right? Beyond them are the miraculous energies of creation. So beyond the mind, beyond the definitions, beyond the dividing life into opposites, into black and white, beyond that is the place of non-duality, where the miraculous energies of creation arise and dwell. I think when I was talking around a past sutra, I suggested a practice where we actually embody the opposites of something. So we might perhaps embody what it is to be pure, and then we embody what it is to be impure, and we move between these two states of being, and eventually we discover in the space between is where the aliveness is. Rays of light from 1 trillion suns illumine the altar of your sky. Literally and metaphorically. Rolling blue-green oceans sanctify. You know, when I use that word sanctify, suddenly a whole attitude of reverence imbues my being. Sanctify the air you breathe. It makes me stop and just think, oh my God, yes. Every time I breathe is sacred. I'm breathing in this sanctity. The light that allows me to see comes from 1 trillion suns. Wow, that's mind-blowing. That's sacred. That's incomprehensible, fathomless. In this moment, you are inhaling their blessing. How blessed we are to be alive. How blessed we are to see, to breathe, to feel, to touch. How blessed we are to experience life. Who are you to call any of this pure or impure? Who are you to judge? But particularly applying that to ourselves, because I know I have a tendency to judge myself worse than I judge anyone else. Forgetting my own divinity, forgetting my own innocence for a moment, and knowing that it's when I do that I set myself up for feelings of not good enough and separation, which are the root of feelings of disease and pain and aloneness. Find the center around which everything revolves. Where is it? Where is that center? Stand here and be flooded with joy. So for me, I think of so many things. I think of a Sufi dancer whirling, 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 whirling. And of course, in that center point, there is no movement. I think of a spiral of the spiritual journey where we spiral down and up and down and up in this constant process of transformation and change and awakening. I think of the stillness of my central channel, the Sushmuna that runs from root to crown, connecting me to the center of the earth and the central sun. I think of that as my still center. When I place my awareness there, there's a deep resting place and a deep connection with the infinite. Find the center, the place between all of those opposites, between all of those judgments and definitions of experience. Stand here and be flooded with joy. So this sutra, this practice, is inviting us to become conscious of our tendency to define and judge and polarize, to become conscious once again of the sanctity of life, every breath that we take, and to find the center between those two opposing points of perception and rest there within our own being, within our own minds, where there is no judgment. We're beyond that, and in that place we're connecting with the energy of life, with Shakti, actually, with life force, and be flooded with joy. Yummy. Thank you for being with me, and join me again tomorrow for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. Sat Nam, and much love.